Jeff Solo. 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 Jeff Solo Times.
Alrighty folks, welcome, bienvenue chez Jeff Solo. How's it going? Hope you are all having a wonderful Guy Fawkes night. Yeah, I just thought I would quickly rattle through a little collection room update, just showing you what I have in my collection at the moment. I've managed to get in this room because it's just been full of junk for the past 2 or 3 weeks. And I've just finished sort of clearing up as best I can. I've put a lot of stuff back in the loft, just basically sorting out stuff and listing stuff that I don't really want anymore. Just general tidying up, which as we all know sucks. So without further ado, I will quickly show you everything. Now I have done this video already, but I had the camera the wrong way around the whole way through it. So I'm going to do this a lot quicker. If there's anything that you see in this video and you want me to spend more time on looking at it in a future video, just drop it in the comments. I'm more than happy to do that. But at the moment, we're just going to rattle through everything, or we'll be here for weeks. And I'm sure you've got better things to be doing with your time than looking at me discussing everything in detail. So let's get cracking. So top shelf here, got some vintage Rambo, vintage A-Team, Karate Kid, Michael Knight, Commando at the back, Chuck Norris far left. So a lot of these I picked up in America when I was there the first time. So there we go. Next shelf down we've got my Stargate collection. Pretty awesome. Next shelf down we've got Bucky O'Hare. I really love these figures. I love the toads. I've got oodles of them. You can never have too many. I think I've got about 12 of them in the loft. I love them. Next shelf down we've got the vintage Turtles. Now I don't have a lot of these. I only really collect the ones I had as a kid, to be fair. I had all these apart from Casey Jones. I didn't have him as a kid. However, he is one that I always wanted, so I fired him in the cabinet. Next shelf down, just a few of the funky ones that I like from the Turtles. A couple I bought in America. Biker Mice from Mars and Captain Planet. This shelf you can't really see, but oh, you can actually. I have the Pirates of Darkwater and King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. And on this bottom shelf here is part 1, or part A, of my Thing collection from the Fantastic Four. I bought that carded figure from Tom from Pizarro's Pieces at a good price, so cheers Tom. Now moving over, we will have a look at the other part of the Thing collection, and I can have a seat. Ah, it's great. So, yep. It's a bit darker on this side, so apologies, but that is my other part of my Thing collection. Moving up, we have just some Marvel bits and pieces. Sorry about the light here. Oh, I think that light's gone out. That's why it's not working. Yes, I've got Yondu, Thor. Big fan of the Thor. Big fan of the Juggernaut. Up here we have this. These shelves aren't completely finished. I've just put stuff on them just at the moment. I've got Battlestar Galactica vintage figures at the back there. I've got Mork as well. You can see him just peeking through. A couple of Thunderbirds from '92 Matchbox, and then I've got my Ready Player One 3 3/4 inch figures and Buck Rogers Starship. Next row up, just another mixed match of different bits and pieces. I've got some Master of the Universe bootlegs at the back there. I've got a Voltron figure and some Loyal Subject Master of the Universe figures. Up here is my first shelf of Black Series figures. Lando Calrissian is one of my new recruits for this year, as is Princess Leia. So I was pretty stoked with those. Next shelf up, I've got my Defenders of the Earth. Every time you see them, you've got to sing it. You've got to sing it, man. And then on this shelf, we've got my California Raisins, which I love, and a couple of PVC vintage figures, Popeye, Super Ted, and that little yellow Mr. Smiley, or whatever his name is. He is mine from my childhood, so I found him recently, so I thought I'd stick him back in the cabinet. That's pretty awesome. Now, this side of the cabinet is my Bravestar collection. I'm pretty happy with what I've got there. I don't think I want any more of the figures. I think that'll do me. They're the kind of core characters anyway, so pretty stoked with those. Next row down, my pride and joy, my Visionary collection. I have the vehicles up in the loft, but I prefer the figures, and the vehicles are so bulky. But I have a complete collection bar 2 weapons, so yes, pretty stoked with those. I recently got, is it no, not Recon. I can't remember that guy's name, I think it's Recon. I got his helmet, which cost me a small fortune, but needed it. Next row down, we have some Black Series, again 6-inch figures. Grand Moff Tarkin, Darth Vader. Oh, why is it not focusing? There we go. Darth Vader, pretty cool. And then we've got some of the Force Awakens and Rogue One Black Series. And then we have my Power of the Force figures. Some of these from my childhood. I did have the vintage figures as a child, but they were hand-me-downs. These were actually brand new when I was a young lad. So, yep, a lot of those are my childhood ones and in very good nick. So I did take care of my toys, I have to say. And then down here I've got my Papa Mutant sort of warriors and my World of Warcraft figures. And then right in the bottom, sorry it's so dark, you won't be able to see these really, but I've got my Sons of Anarchy and just a few bits decorated from... oh, goodness gracious me, I've forgotten the film he's from. And there's Drago from Game of Thrones. So there we go, so that's that. So there we have it. And then we'll come up here again. Blade Runner, that's where Deck is from. Jesus, Jeff. We've got a hammer, Thor's hammer, then we've got some Funko Rides. Ghost Rider. Lego sets. A crazy looking Darth Vader, I love that figure. Black Series Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Jabba the Hutt, you tit. IG-88? No, I can't remember what that guy's called, but he's from Rogue One. A couple of the Jumbo Gentle Giant Star Wars figures. And then some Mighty Mugs, Destro, Storm Shadow, and Cobra Commander. A cool red light that my mum bought me a few years back. That's pretty awesome. Over here, we have my Lego minifigures. Again, you won't be able to see it because the light is dreadful. But yeah, just a few. I've got the majority of Star Wars. And I've got my Disney ones at the back. I don't know if you can see that through the blurry glass, but yeah. And then I've got my Leoric Mighty Mug as well. Really, really cool. So there we go. It's really hard to see those, so we'll just quickly bypass those. Into the Funko Pops, the first load of Pops. So we've got Robocop Shredder, a Lemmy. Really, really cool. My mum bought me that for Christmas, just a wee Smurf. And then down here I've got some my Star Wars toy box figures, and then just, I don't know what they're doing there, to be honest. Must have just put them there to keep them safe. And then down here, Popeye's a really cool one. And then down here we've got Dick Dastardly, Muttley, Top Cat and Tigra, and then the Yellow Submarine Lego set. And then right down the bottom, Shuttle Tiberius, a couple more Lego sets, Guardians of the Galaxy-esque. And then a few restoration projects hopefully in the future. A couple of the Cylon Raiders, we'll have to get them fixed up. Over here we've got some of my Thor figures. That's my the Dark World and the Mighty Avenger. Quite a few of those. I've got all the Dark Worlds, the Mighty Avenger, there's so many, but I'm nearly there. I think I pretty much got all those. Just a few variants of Thor. That probably won't pick up. My Galvatron canvas painting, which is seriously cool. A Masters of the Universe poster. That one came with a puzzle. Visionaries prints. These are really cool, by the artist herself. She sent me those. I paid for them obviously, but she sent me those. I contacted her. She also sent me a hand-drawn Kravex, which is only small, but that's in my drawer in the other room, so yes, I don't have that on display. A couple of signed photographs from people I've met. Dirk Benedict and the late great Kenny Baker. A couple of carded figures down there. Iceman and I think that's Lancelot from King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. And then sneaky round the corner is Kravex, carded by the Visionaries. Pretty awesome. Up here we've got some Jurassic Park Funko Pops. Let's try and get more focus in here. There we go. Jurassic Park Funko Pops from the original. It's pretty cool. top there is the Star Wars Vintage Collection Wedge Antilles, aka Dennis Lawson, who used to live next door to my mum. So there you go. Next row down we've got Cobra Commander, Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Destro, couple of Warcraft pops. Next row down we have my Batman Classics, Joker, Batman, Robin, Riddler and the Joker. And we also, not the Joker, Penguin, sorry. And then animated Batman. And then down here, it's getting dark down here, so you can't really see, but they're all Star Wars Funko Pops, which really don't fill me full of joy anymore, to be honest. I'm not really a big fan of the Star Wars ones. But yeah, there we go. Can't really see them too well. Then I've got my big Jakks Pacific Stormtrooper. Use a Gigantosaurus, a load of cables, and a phone. Interesting. Right, so that's that side. Now we're onto this side. Oh, Putain de Merde. He broke everything. This is my vintage Star Wars cabinet, which we'll have a look at. So there's all my vintage Star Wars figures. I nearly have a full collection. I'm still missing a few of the last 17s. But yeah, I'm getting there, slowly. But it's a labour of love, this, for sure. So yeah, really stoked with this collection. Down here is my very modest Imperial Army. The last 17 Imperial dignitaries, one of the latest recruits for the cabinet. I've got a Dewback and a Tauntaun and a Wampa at the back there. My blue Snaggletooth, which is the jewel in the crown. Some more last 17, some Bubblegum. Max Rebo Band, some Ewoks. Pretty good. Next shelf down, we have a Battle Damaged X-Wing, an AT-ST, a Snowspeeder, which was probably one of the things that got me back into collecting toys again. I had that as a kid. It was a hand-me-down when I think I got it when I was about 10. No, maybe younger than that, maybe about 8 or 9. I got that, so yeah, it was great. As soon as I found that on eBay, that's how everything kicked off again. A blaster, Han Solo's blaster from Return of the Jedi, a little mini rig at the back there. Next row down, we've got a puzzle at the back and a boxed mini rig, the AST-5. I've got a Rancor, a Cloud Car, a perfect condition Slave 1, and a really, really good condition Land Speeder. And then on the bottom shelf, I've got the Millennium Falcon, which I'm not 100% happy with. Still needs a lot of work done to it, and it needs a radar dish and bits and pieces, but yeah, work in progress for the Falcon. Over here we have some more Funko Pops. We've got a Battlestar Galactica, a Rogue Conan, a blue Snaggletooth and a Darth Vader TIE Fighter. Above it is a Mossman and a boxed Groot, a Dundee United Gnome, because that's my team. I've also got signed photos of one of my heroes, Danny John Jules and Jeremy Bulloch. Danny is a legend. Further down we have more Funko Pops. We've got Flash Gordon Funkos and Space Ghost, the translucent version as well, which is another recent pickup this year. Next shelf down we've got some Masters of the Universe and a few Street Fighters there. Down again it's Masters of the Universe. Trapjaw is probably one of my favourites. And then on the very bottom shelf, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy Funko Pops. It's pretty cool. Right, top of the Star Wars cabinet, I better show you these as well. Just some Godzilla, Dominus Rex, and a Hulk, Gladiatorial Hulk at the back there. Visionaries comic, #1. Some James Bond prints, which are really awesome. And then we come on to this top of this cabinet. We've got my Indiana Jones Mighty Mugs, my Darth Vader carrier case, which is pretty cool. We've got another Dundee United Gnome there. Green Lantern, which is awesome. It makes loads of lights and sounds, and it's fantastic. And then I've got Poe Dameron's X-Wing, a couple of little Star Wars opera figures. They sing and dance, it's pretty cool. And then Danger Mouse figures. And then over here I've got my Jakks Pacific BB-8 and a canvas picture of Boba Fett, which I got in a charity shop for £2. So that's pretty cool. Now we're into my Thundercats cabinet. This is my Mezco Thundercats, Panthro and Tigra. And then I've got my loyal subjects, Mumra, Tigra and Jaga. Next shelf down, just some of my vintage figures. I've got Lino. I need a board for Wily Cat. I have Wily Kits. Then some of the villains down the bottom here. And then kind of miscellaneous down here, more villains really. And then down here I have Chitara and Lino and Snarf Mezcos as well. Sliding over to the side here I have my Sideshow James Bond collectibles. At the back left, Alec Trevelyan. Back right is James Bond, Pierce Brosnan. Front right, Roger Moore, James Bond. And front left, Sean Connery. At the back there is a Man from U.N.C.L.E. comic, which my old boy got me. And in front of that is the Oldsmobile in a reproduction packaging, but it's still really cool. That is also from my old man. In the front here I have a Lotus Esprit and Corgi Junior's Lotus Esprit, and they are definitely my favourite James Bond cars. And then I've also got the two with the ejector seats as well. Next row up, I've got my Hot Toys Han Solo, The New Hope, and I have my Sideshow Bespin Han Solo. Further up, it is Thor. I think this is the Dark World Thor. Yeah, it is. Hot Toys, really cool figure. Really, really cool. Love that. And then finally up here we have Chris Pratt, aka Star-Lord from the first Guardians film. And then we have Baby Groot from the second Guardians film. Awesome. Now, last part of the room tour is this wall, which I've been working on. Up the top, the light is terrible, so I apologise, but up the top here we've got some of my carded figures, original carded figures. So they're pretty awesome. Love that Lando. He was one of the first figures I had, Lando. I had him complete. I think my mum got him from I want to say like a coffee morning. She got me a box of vintage Star Wars and he was one of the figures in there, so yeah, I was really stoked with him. That is the first vintage carded figure I ever got, which is the Gamorrean Guard. I think he cost me £15 at the car boot sale, which was awesome. Change days. Then we got Nikto down the bottom there, Princess Leia, which I just like the look of that figure. I thought it was a really good sculpt for a 3 3/4, that's why I picked it up. I've got my reproduction vinyl cape Jawa, which my old boy bought me, and then I have my Flash Gordon Biff Bang Pow reaction figures. They're really cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Then I have my, I better show you this big picture, don't I? This was a recent pickup as well. Really lovely poster. I love that. It's cool. It's vintage as well. On the back, it came with one of the vehicles, I think. It's like a catalogue on the back showing you all the figures you could get at the time. So, yeah, I love that. And then I've got my droids from the Droid Factory from Florida, which I've put in protective cases now because I want it to keep them pretty good. Like that one, he's pretty cool. This is definitely my favourite one though, down here. And then finally, this wee chap. And then we have my Robin Hood Prince of Thieves figures, one of my favourite collections of mine. I'm still trying to find protective cases for these. It's proving really difficult here in the UK. I don't know if any of my American viewers, or anybody else for that matter, knows where I could pick cases up for these. You can find loads for G.I. Joe and Star Wars, but never for these ones. The same for my Street Fighters. I've only got 2 at the moment, but that collection will no doubt grow in the years to come. So I really would like to find cases for those as well. So if anybody knows, let me know. So there you go, folks. Just a quick tour of my room. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.